I have to tell you that with less than 6 months before the election, I'm worried. I'm worried that other nation states, not just Russia, but Russia, China, Iran, and potentially others, know that it is relatively easy and relatively cheap to interfere in our elections. We've seen a report as recently as just yesterday of not necessarily a deep fake with AI tools, but a fake video claiming that Ukraine was somehow helping Biden and being attributed to the CIA. As the CIA quickly rebutted, this was absolutely false. It was actually came from a known Russian group. But I think we will see more of that from a variety of nation states going forward. So the fact that it's cheap is a challenge. Second is just the fact that Americans of all political stripes are much more willing to believe wild conspiracy theories. And unfortunately, so many Americans don't trust anything from the federal government. So that means that it is a target-rich environment to spread disinformation. Third is that we have seen many of the social media platform companies, frankly, not do enough, and in many ways retreat from even what they did in 2020 in terms of having individuals meet their own user requirements. We've seen certain companies like Twitter basically get rid of any of the content moderation. We've seen other platforms that have dramatically cut back on the personnel that were used to deal with disinformation. And four, we've got the challenge of artificial intelligence. A lot of this is focusing on deep fakes, the ability to create a video or audio of an individual that is completely false but appears real. So what you see or even what you hear is not fully believable. We've seen two examples of that already, where in the primary season there was a fake picture of President Trump appearing to hug Dr. Fauci. We saw as well a video robocall supposedly from President Biden around the New Hampshire primary, putting out wrong information. We've got to make sure that we work as aggressively as we can to educate Americans about this threat, to have them be able to take a pause or take a beat if something seems a little out of line. And then the federal government, and this is what the focus of the hearing was yesterday, needs to do a clearer job of when they have proof that this is a false piece of information or a deep fake. They need to aggressively get that information out. And one of the things that we need to focus on, who does that? I mean, in a political campaign where you've got an incumbent president running against a former president, if the White House themselves says this is fake, it may not carry as much weight. So I actually think the model that took place late in the 2020 campaign, where there were Iranian actors pretending to be Proud Boys putting out disinformation, it was literally the Trump administration had their director of national intelligence, the head of the FBI, the head of CISA, all come out jointly and clear that out. We need that same kind of senior level aggressive leaning in, particularly as we get closer to the election.